combining two very different film genres, like say a gangster film and a comedy, that can be very difficult to pull off successfully. I'm thinking the Billy Wilder classic, Some Like It Hot, was probably the most successful film to do that. But this brings us to today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet, full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a stellar cast and a stellar crew combine forces to make a mob comedy. But does it work? Let's check it out. Today's film is Married to the Mob from 1988, 104 minutes long, in color. This is about a suburban mafia housewife who wants to cut ties with the mob entirely. But the mob boss and the FBI, well, they have other plans for her. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Angela, the mafia housewife. She's completely endearing in this film. She's just fantastic. You can't take your eyes off of her. I was going to say she steals the film, but the cast is so strong, that's kind of hard to say. She was 30 years old when she made this one. This was right before a string of very successful films she made, including Dangerous Liaisons, The Fabulous Baker Boys, Batman Returns, The Age of Innocence, the Scorsese film. The FBI guy who is after her is played by Matthew Modine. A year before this, he was Private Joker in the great Full Metal Jacket. And most recently, you may have seen him in the series Stranger Things. There's one part in this film where he's on a crowded bus and he has to follow Michelle Pfeiffer down the sidewalk. So he needs to get out of the bus. So he escapes through the emergency exit in the roof of the bus, jumps onto a U-Haul truck next to him, then jumps onto a car, then onto the sidewalk, fixes his suit, and follows Michelle Pfeiffer. That was really him doing it. There's no cuts, there's no edits. You see his face. He does it makes it look very easy. He's very graceful. But one of his co-stars was rather upset that they let him do this because it was so dangerous. And that co-star is Dean Stockwell. He plays the mob boss, Tony the Tiger. He plays it funny, but he's never a buffoon. He's always kind of smart and always kind of dangerous too. So it's just the right tone he sets for that. And he was actually Oscar nominated for this film. This was 2 years after Dean Stockwell was in Blue Velvet. The other standout here is Mercedes Ruehl. She plays Dean Stockwell's wife. And she is just fantastic in this. 3 years after this, she won an Oscar for The Fisher King. Other cast members in here include Alec Baldwin, Oliver Platt, Nancy Travis, Joan Cusack. They all have their moment to shine. Even people that you will recognize, you might not know their names, but you recognize, they all have at least one scene, and they all have great moments in this film. It's really fun to watch, and a lot of credit for that goes to the great director Jonathan Demme, who was a Roger Corman student, I'd like to say, who got his start making low-budget films for Corman, such as Caged Heat. A few years after this film, he went on to make The Silence of the Lambs, which I consider a very well-made film on every level. It deserved the top 5 Oscars that it won that year, which is a rarity. And he also made I think 3 years before this one, he made the Talking Heads concert film Stop Making Sense. And David Byrne of the Talking Heads did the musical score for this film. Married to the Mob has such a great balance of comedy and drama and / gangster film. As Matthew Modine says in one of the films, one of the disc extras, it's always, it's over the top, this film, but it's always grounded in reality. And as one of the writers says in one of the extras, you could shoot the same situations in this film as a drama and it would probably work. But there are also some visual kind of throwaway, subtle jokes sprinkled throughout here, which is kind of fun to watch. And the set design is just so impressive. The mafia family homes are so tacky and so tasteless. And then the costumes too are just on such a high level. The Tony the Tiger, the Dean Stockwell's character, his suits, he almost looks like a pimp to be honest, with his hats and his sunglasses, and his suits are just, and the pastel suits are just so impressive. And the housewives, the mafia housewives, they got the real big hair, as you can see in this picture here, Michelle Pfeiffer. They got the almost like jumpsuits they're wearing with the big giant shoulder pads, and they have the heavy New York Italian accents. There's some violence in here, but it's never graphic, it's never gory or anything. It's always kind of tinged with a light comic feeling to it as well. And it's also a very fast-moving film. But probably the biggest strengths are the performances, especially Michelle Pfeiffer. She is so endearing, and you just cannot help but root for her. And she's beautiful as well. Mercedes Ruehl is another standout as the mob boss's wife, because she's tough, but she's also kind of sad because she's upset that her boss wants to have an affair with Michelle Pfeiffer's character. But she's also kind of scary too. You could see her being a mob boss herself. And in fact, Dean Stockwell, who plays the mob boss, Mercedes Ruehl's husband, he's a tough guy, but I think he's still a little bit scared of her, which is kind of funny too. So really great performances from these people, and just spot on. There's also a real nice feel for the New York location and what it's like to be on the streets of New York with some of the performers on the street. And my rating for Married to the Mob, I'm going to give this one 4.5 scissors out of 5. Why scissors? Michelle Pfeiffer gets a job in a beauty salon where she cuts hair. So what's on this disc? This is a Fun City Editions disc. It comes with a booklet, which is about 20 pages long or so. Could have been longer, but has 2 really good essays in there. It has a commentary track, which I did not listen to. It has 3 interviews, one with the writers, one with Mercedes Ruehl, and one with Matthew Modine. They run about 20 to 30 minutes each. Those are all new interviews. Where can you see Married to the Mob? It's streaming right now on Paramount Plus and on MGM Plus. You can rent it. You can buy it. I have seen this edition on Amazon. I don't know if it comes with the booklet or not, but it's going for about $20 plus I think like $5 shipping or something like that. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Maybe there's another film that blends this comedy and drama that you would like to recommend or discuss. So down below, a comment or suggestion. I would like to thank the following people who've left comments on various episodes since our last episode. Those people include Tina, Michael, Rich, and Plaid X2, or Plaid times 2. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. I would like to welcome our newest subscribers since our last episode. Those include Juan, Yo, Pablo, Bondi, Mars T. Thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe. We are, I think, 5 away, last time I looked, from our next goal of 500 subscribers, so please share the word. We're also on Letterboxd. That's free. There's a link down in the show notes below under the Kazdoy Closet, and that's where we leave brief written reviews of other things we're watching. I recently watched the horror film Men, and some stand-up comedy too we watched on there. So feel free to check that one out. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Hope you like this episode. See you next time.